What's up, everybody? This is Joseph Nelson, and this is my YouTube channel, Next Home Network PDF. If this is your first time to my channel, and you want to know everything about living, eating, sleeping, playing, and all the varied lifestyles that are available to you in the Portland, Vancouver area, make sure you tap the subscribe button and hit the little bell so you will be reminded every time I make a new video. I get so many people calling who are relocating to the area, and I absolutely love it. If you are thinking about moving or relocating to the area, or just need some help to decide where to live, make sure you call me, or text me, or email me, or even send me that carrier pigeon. However you want to get a hold of me, just know that I have your back when moving to the Portland and Vancouver greater areas. Next, we're going to move into single-family homes. I frequently have folks tell me that they no longer want the responsibility or burden of maintaining a home. And so they think they want to buy a condo. Now me, I'm honest, maybe sometimes too honest. But when I compare the average HOA for a condo at $500 a month with what you could do with that money to care for your home, I think I can make the case for, if you buy a new or fairly new home, that $500 a month is going to cover the vast majority of your maintenance. Hire somebody to take care of the yard at $150 a month. These homes that are new have fairly small yards. Even if you want to take care of it yourself in your more active years, that's great. And if you love gardening, that's great. You're not going to have a lot to take care of, but $150 goes quite a ways towards maintaining the landscaped areas of homes. If they have a sprinkler system, you don't have to water them. Next, you hire somebody every decade or so to paint your house. Don't do it yourself. If you took $150 out of that $500 a month average for condo HOAs, you're going to be left with $4,200 a year to put towards home maintenance. And I am an advocate of paying to have this done, since you've set the money aside. You can do it yourself if you want, but if you told me you don't want the burden of maintaining a home, then just take that money. You're going to have to manage hiring people to do it, but don't be a slave to your home, be its master. So we are going to start at the far north perimeter of the Portland, Vancouver area in Ridgefield and Salmon Creek. First, I want to say a few things about Washington. Washington has no income tax, and they don't tax Social Security. Now, where your investments fall, you're going to have to check with your CPA. But if you're still working, even part-time, there's no income tax in Washington. There is in Oregon. There's an income tax. Washington has a program where you can have your property taxes reduced if you're over a certain age and your income falls below a certain level. It also has some awesome veteran programs for reducing property taxes. Oregon does not have this feature. In Oregon, you can defer taxes once you reach a certain age, but when you sell your home or your kids sell your home, those taxes will have to all be recaptured and interest paid on that amount. There's an awesome 55 and older community in Ridgefield. This is 2 minutes east of I-5. These are all single-level homes. Some of them are detached. They don't touch the neighbor's home at all. Some of them are attached, and they are attached by the garages. They each have a 2-car garage, and they're attached by the garages. So the living spaces are pretty well separated from the attachment. And this cuts down on the cost of maintenance and the initial cost of the home a bit. This is a fairly large community, but it's filling up fast. At this time, there are none available for sale that are finished, but there are some available that are in construction. And this community is gated. There is nowhere to park an RV in this community, but 3 miles away, there is a RV storage area, which costs money. It's not free. From here, you'll drive on a side street to Salmon Creek, which has almost everything you could want. This is an awesome area for shopping. It was the northern expansion of Vancouver before Ridgefield really started building up, so it's a new area as well. The Ridgefield area does not have a lot of shopping yet, but this will come in the future. Also nearby are new and close to new neighborhoods of single-family homes that are not designated 55 and over. Some of these potentially could have a place to park an RV alongside the house, but if you're not quite ready to move into a 55 and over neighborhood, right across the street there are single-family homes available. But a lot of these are two-story. In fact, most of them are two-story. The next area I'm going to talk about is Salmon Creek. We talked about the shopping there. There are some awesome neighborhoods. The homes surrounding the Salmon Creek shopping are all reasonably new. This was the northernmost expansion of Vancouver before Ridgefield starting their expansion. Now Ridgefield is the northernmost area of new homes. But Salmon Creek is not far behind, and Salmon Creek is still where all the shopping is, even for those folks in Ridgefield. Ridgefield has not started its commercial push for shopping or restaurants, so all of that traffic comes back into Salmon Creek, and so Salmon Creek is a very desirable place to come to shop. Salmon Creek also sits at the confluence of I-205 and I-5. You can go 3 blocks in one direction and get onto I-5, and you go 3 blocks in the other direction and get onto I-205. So within 3 blocks you can go south into downtown Portland, or you can go south through the east side of Portland, which goes through Happy Valley, Clackamas, Oregon City, West Lynn, eventually Tualatin, and gets on to I-5 below the Portland metropolitan area. There are 2 major medical facilities in Salmon Creek. I can't tell you whether they're within your plan or not, but I do know that typically if you have an emergency, you can go to the nearest hospital, and there are 2 within 10 minutes away. Okay, moving south along 205, you're going to go past Vancouver Mall, which is Vancouver's largest mall. Unfortunately, it's in a pretty old area, and there just really isn't a selection of homes that are new enough to support buying a home and not having to be a slave to maintenance. There may be some onesie-twosies around there, but there are no new neighborhoods around Vancouver Mall. But you're only about 15 minutes from Salmon Creek. But continuing on 205 south until we hit the Columbia River, and to the east, which is the easternmost edge of Vancouver, we have Camas. Camas is an awesome place to live. The shopping is on the Camas/Vancouver city limits line. It runs primarily east and west on Mill Plain Boulevard in Vancouver, and north and south on 164th in Vancouver, and north and south on 192nd, which is roughly the city limit line of Vancouver and Camas. This is an area to shop by car. You can find most anything you want in this area in the way of shops or restaurants. I recently did a neighborhood spotlight on East Vancouver. There is a 55 and older community off 164th called Freeway Village. It's right on a golf course, but it's a little bit older. It's not new, but it is a good area, and it's 10 minutes to the Portland airport from there. The bulk of the new housing is going to be further north on the outskirts of East Vancouver and to the east in Camas. The shopping here is plentiful. This area offers awesome freeway access to the Portland airport, 10 to 15 minutes away. Downtown Portland, 20-25 minutes. So again, the freeway access is awesome. These communities are located on the Columbia River, so you're in near proximity to almost an endless variety of water sports, if that's your lifestyle. Boating, fishing, jet skis, sailing, kayaking. The opportunities are varied and almost endless. The port of Camas offers moorage for boats and really nice boat ramps. And the fishing right off the ramp is awesome for salmon, steelhead, sturgeon. There's just an awesome fishery right there if that's part of your lifestyle. This is also about the most expensive part of Southwest Washington to buy a home. Moving down I-205 further into Oregon, we come to Clackamas and Happy Valley. Happy Valley self-claims to be the fastest growing city in Oregon. Now I'd say Hillsboro by number is growing faster, but maybe by capita that's true. That's what they claim. The point is there's a ton of new construction there, and there has been for the last 10 years. So the opportunities are vast in finding you a new home, a home under construction, or a fairly new home. And the shopping between the residential areas in Happy Valley and Clackamas is really good. That area is all new. There's about 70 blocks of business along Sunnyside Road between Clackamas Town Center and Happy Valley. And there's great shopping there, but you go down and cross I-205 and you'll find the Clackamas Town Center. And this is one of the big three in the Portland area of shopping centers. This is a very large shopping center with the big boys. It's got Penny's, Sears, Macy's, Nordstrom, and tons of small shops. There's a lot there, but you go across the street and you get to the Clackamas Promenade, and the Clackamas Promenade is another shopping center with Target, pet stores, Party City, World Market, and a lot of smaller shops. So between the Clackamas Town Center and the Clackamas Promenade, I would have to say you can find about anything you want. Chick-fil-A right there, there's a Claim Jumper, there's just all kinds of really good restaurants in the area as well. This area is located in Clackamas County, and that's desirable to an awful lot of people. There's a growing segment of the population that refuses to live in Multnomah County, Portland, because of their politics, and it's more of a cradle-to-grave philosophy. Clackamas County tends to be a bit more conservative and a bit more independent. The schools in Clackamas County are, in Happy Valley especially, are gold standard. The property values there are fairly high. Okay, moving south on 205 until we get to I-5, we'll find Bridgeport Village, which happens to be my favorite shopping center in the entire Portland area. This is like a European little city with cobblestone streets and shops. The periphery as you can drive and park on the street. They do have a parking building and exterior parking lots. And then the core of Bridgeport Village is not open to vehicular traffic. You have to walk it, and it's really cool. It's like you've stepped into Europe, and there's a ton of stores there. It's a fun experience to go there, and it's well worth the time to look at it. But there's also a lot of other shopping in the area. Bridgeport Village is surrounded by the communities of Tigard, Tualatin, Lake Grove, and Lake Oswego. These communities straddle I-5, and you're not going to be more than 15 minutes from Bridgeport Village, but most of them more like 5 or 10. And the shopping and eating potential there is great. You can find most anything you want here. There are many newer and new construction communities in the area, and well worth the look. Moving down I-5 from Bridgeport Village is Wilsonville. I'm not going to name a shopping center there. This is an older town that was small, that's gone through an amazing amount of expansion. So the majority of Wilsonville is new. There's some really nice parks in the city of Wilsonville. The one right downtown, they have concerts in the park in the summer. If you've never seen Johnny Limbo and the Lugnuts, it's well worth going. It's free, so it's definitely worth your money. So is it worth your time? I believe so. If you like 50s and 60s rock and roll, this is a great show. Bring your lawn chair or your blanket and sit down and watch and enjoy your day. Aside from that park, there's many other parks that have great playground equipment, and there's also a large park along the Willamette River which has athletic fields, a lot of softball tournaments, and a fountain for the kids to play in, and so on and so forth. So There's great parks in Wilsonville. There's awesome shopping, and there's awesome places to live. If you push over the Willamette River from Wilsonville, there is a community called Charbonneau. This is an upscale neighborhood. There's no shopping there. You're going to have to come back to Wilsonville for shopping. But this is just an awesome community. There are condos there, and there are single-family homes. There's a golf course, private golf course, the Charbonneau Golf Course, imagine that. It's a pretty affluent community. It's not a 55 and older community, but that's typically who lives there because of the price of the homes and the fact it's really designed for active seniors. Okay, if we push back north again and to the west of Bridgeport Village, we're going to come to a shopping area called Progress Ridge. Progress Ridge is an interesting area. It's hard to know where Tigard leaves off and Beaverton starts, and where Beaverton starts and Shoals ends. It's in this little core of where the three communities, Beaverton, Shoals, and Tigard, kind of come together, and it's all new. They're all pushing into this area with new housing and new commerce. They've even had to build a new high school there, and this thing is impressive. It's huge. It's close enough to Hillsboro if you're still working, to work at the high-tech industries out in Hillsboro. You're about 20 to 25 minutes from Intel, for instance, and it's all country road from Progress Ridge to the west and to the north. It's country roads. It's a nice drive. But the point is, there's a ton of shopping right there. There are condo units there. There are single-family homes. There's a little lake that has condos around it, with a walking path around the lake, and that leads you to the Progress Ridge Shopping Center. So a few of the condos here could be considered a good walkable area for shopping. But the majority of it you're going to have to drive, and there's a lot of nice neighborhoods around Progress Ridge. You're about 10-12 minutes away from Washington Square. I'm not featuring it because there's really not a lot of new housing around Washington Square. That area, well, you're pushing into Portland to the east and Progress to the north, and most of these areas are older. It's going to be a little bit harder to find a home that doesn't have a maintenance burden to it, and that's really a part of the criteria for this video, is to find homes that are going to require low maintenance. But the Progress Ridge area is awesome, and you're 15 minutes away from Washington Square. If you can't find what you want in Progress Ridge, and there's a ton of shopping there, you will find it at Washington Square. Pushing further northwest, back up towards Hillsboro, is Tanasbourne. When I was growing up, Tanasbourne got built. It was an indoor mall and a theater, and it was in the middle of nowhere. It was at the confluence of 185th, which runs into Aloha, and the Sunset Highway, or Highway 26. But this was a destination, and over the years they've revamped it, and it's now probably 5 times the size it was. It's no longer an indoor mall. It's more one of these where there's a bunch of little pods and all the, a few of the big box stores around, and there's a ton of shopping at Tanasbourne. But my point is, so many little shopping centers have come up around Tanasbourne towards Hillsboro, and in the area there is an endless supply of shopping. Around the area is new. This was all fields when I grew up, as I said before, and so the homes here are all fairly new, and we can find you something here that's not going to keep you working on your home on the weekends. There is a major Kaiser hospital here. It is the location where they do all the orthopedic surgeries for the whole Portland area. It's a brand new facility. It's impressive. I actually had a hip replacement surgery done there, and boy, I'm telling you, I was impressed. I was impressed with the care. I was impressed with the facility. I can't say enough good things about it. My point is that there is awesome care. If you're not a member of Kaiser, there is awesome access to emergency care. It's very close. So that pretty much wraps up the areas that I wanted to speak about for retiring near in the Portland, Vancouver area. But there's one more that's outside the Portland area that I wanted to talk about. This is about 20 minutes south of Wilsonville, the southernmost point that we talked about so far. It is outside the Portland area. It's surrounded by farm and field. It is called Woodburn. Woodburn has a very large offering of 55 and older communities. You can buy a home there of similar quality and age and pay probably 30% less than you would in the Portland area. I have a friend that lives in Woodburn in a 55 and over community, and he absolutely loves it. Very much a community. The residents there have these little cues of where they position their blinds, telling all their neighbors that they're okay, or if their blinds haven't moved, maybe they need to be checked on. Just kind of a funny little tidbit that he has shared with me. A lot of these homes are on golf courses. The one that I'm going to speak of is not a private course, and it's $600 a year for all the golf you can want to play. They do have HOA fees of $600 a year there, so $50 a month. I'm not sure. I can't recall whether you pay them annually or monthly or quarterly, but fact is $600 a year HOA fee, but that includes swimming pools, clubhouse, quite a few facilities, so I think there's good value in that HOA fee. They do have a $3,000 buy-in on the HOA, but you pay that up front when you buy your house, and from that point on, it's $600 a year HOA, and this is very affordable. I think we're approaching the cost of living in a mobile home park in Woodburn. I think it's a great alternative if you're on the lower end of, if you want to position yourself for lower costs, whether you have to or you want to. This would be a good place to do that. However, lifestyle, unless you golf or, it doesn't offer what living closer to the Columbia River would, for instance, or living near Mount Hood for skiing. So we have to consider that this is really a place to live and spend your golden years. Hey, thanks for hanging for the whole video. Remember, if you want to find that perfect area that you're thinking about living in, or just want to see, in order to do that, you're going to have to give me a call, or shoot me a text, send me an email, or even send me that carrier pigeon. However you want to get a hold of me, just know that I have your back when moving to the Portland, Vancouver area. And until the next video, I'll catch you later.